between 2023 to 2024, he was hosted on every single radio you can think of. Ng'agamba Kenya bwegenda okudefaultinga. Ng'agamba Kenya bwegenda okufa okugwa. And the problem became worse. Kenya's FX nerinya neva mu 100 negena 168. So bad. It was a situation in Kenya, it was actually very bad. It was scary. It was scary. Let me not even try to downplay it. Nga buligezako nechituka ekisera nga government ye Kenya buligezako ku issuinga new treasury bond. Bwe yagala 1 billion efunako million rukaga. Kasitotuka in that situation where the money you want to raise is no longer enough. What's FX baja kudama abamu abali wabachitegeera. Notuka mu level nga sente zoyagala okuraising tochasobola kuziraising and the market gets to know about it. The market will squeeze you. Era kyali Kenya between Jan 2024 to June 2024. When IMF came in, IMF yaja ne concession zali biri. Esooka, increase your tax. Ekyokubiri, reduce your spending. Government negezako ku increasing their tax. We all remember what happened during that Mamudanos. Abagoberera byobufuzi mubijjukira nze bigoberera from my economic perspective and finance. But mubijjukira olutalo lwaliwo olw'amaanyi ennyo abavuga we shall not pay. Now to the young people at the time, for them they're like, no, you cannot tax us so much. Tebamanya the country was almost about to go into crisis. But the day IMF gave them the 1.5 billion, I still remember it was June 17th, 2024. Next week, Kenya we had a more issuing a bond, it was oversubscribed. Since then, rates za Kenya zivude mu 18, ziri ku 10, 11%. But two things have ended up happening in Kenya. Zona Euro bonds is going to expire in the next 3 years. Kenya has already bought them back, ne issuing a long-term bond, long-term Euro bonds, 2039, 2041. Because now the market has confidence that Kenya can raise and can pay. And for as long as the market knows that you can pay, you can give it, you can borrow cheaply. You can borrow cheaply. So that crisis Kenya jiyayitamu was because of the Euro bond. But even Kenya did not default. Why? It continued to have the ability to borrow. Esaweno, Kenya can raise debt wherever it wants at even a cheaper price. And people are still lending it money. Kenya has just recently issued another Euro bond. Now, some of these Euro bond crises, one time they will catch up, right? But for as long as the country echasobola to repay, to borrow in the market and roll over, kati abadde bangoberera ekigambo roll over katuna so kitegeeza nti ebbanja lino liggwako n'ofuna eppya n'osasula bano lino n'olyongerayo for long term, then you will never be in a position where you are defaulting. Uganda, our rollovers are okay. Our rollovers are okay. Uganda has never been in a situation where, because for us, our debt, which is the treasury bond, abantu basagaze to invest in zemuano, right? Every time there is a maturing debt, the government can issue another debt to pay that off. And for as long as you can do that, then they will always be in position to pay. Now, for the ethical people like Solomon, they will roll over is you borrow to pay another debt. I know it's not it's not from that perspective, but why would you borrow to pay debt? Of course, it's a country. To kirize tugane Uganda, bobo tuna Uganda. You either see this as an opportunity or you see it as a problem. The first one is, as a country, emisoro gyaffe minafu. Ekyo Mwenda yakyogerako ate nga mutuufu. Omusoro gwaffe gwe tusasula mutono. URA 2025-2026 bajagaza trillion yana. Trillion yana kan no tubanga temulimu zero corruption. Trillion yana tezisobola kumala. Olide. Trillion yana tezisobola kumala. shaba twakatandika ojja gwe wetuli ebintu ebyo twakatandika butandisi tukyagenda tukinyonyola kimu ku kimu trillion tesobola kumala kitegeeza a country like Uganda we are still in a way to borrow okitegeera ne oil contracts wezinajja muganda wange Elliot ne contracts wezinajja Nigeria, do you know Nigeria is the biggest Africa oil exporter? Nigeria. But Nigeria still borrows. Actually, treasury bonds in Nigeria saw ziri between 20 to 23%. Nina client wangalie Nigeria, she's Ugandan but works in Nigeria. Namugamba gula ku treasury bonds in Nigeria nga Alex Sisobola. Bana abasajja rates zawe za wagulu nnyo zitya. No haba, they will pay. Angola is here. Angola has one of the biggest oil wells and diamonds whatsoever. And even with the oil wells, oil money will help us on one thing. It will make us to get majority of the infrastructure going, but the borrowing will continue. So, for as long as the government, actually let me first put the caveat here. For as long as the government is and can continue to borrow money locally and internationally, you should never worry on a default. Chovola banti Ghana yochi yayitamu yayina maturing debt nga it can no longer borrow internationally. Literally people refused to lend money to government. Nebaji eye Ghana okakananga bakozechi. That's the crisis. But let me now extend the conversation in Ghana. What really happened in Ghana? Although I don't know if to get the situation what it was, because I wanted to first explain what the situation was in Ghana before what became a default, then what ended up happening. Tukitegedde bulungi awo. Abalayikinga live neyanza Elizabeth kinyambako netambula bulungi. Abantu ne bakimanya nti kwetuli. I know I'm seeing a few questions coming in on WhatsApp. Okay. Yakuzidda Mwenda. Kati tugende what exactly happened in Ghana after the default. Now, tutegedde nti Uganda. Always in the our treasury bonds are owned by the loan sharks in Kenya and commercial banks. Now, Uganda's treasury bonds, to investing the community that I'm so proud of. Right now I have close to 150 people. How many people here who are invested in the treasury bonds? Like you are really invested, you have a treasury bond. I want to see, is there a way I can do a poll? Because the poll will give me okay, you're not there. The poll will give me, how many people here who are here are invested in the treasury? Like you own it. Because those ones, whatever answer or decisions we make, they know. Tugule, tutunda. Those are the people I'm interested in the most. Mwekwetuli. So, a Ghana, a Uganda one, our treasury bonds and treasury bills are owned 30% by provident funds. Provident funds, the biggest there is NSSF. Yes, NSSF. How many of us here have NSSF? How many of us here save with NSSF? Nga you know, nze nina akasente mu NSSF. Provident funds, abamu abayina emirimu emirungi. Waliyo other insurance companies. Ezirinanga Zamaras, other provident funds,